Hello there. Welcome to RICO'S Garage. I actually learned something working on the YJ today, and I didn't want to wrap it in with the video that I just got done shooting, so I figured I'd save it for something separate. Kind of do a little tech tip on it. Um, Ever since building this Jeep, and if I say building, I mean building. For those of you that don't know the backstory on this thing, this Jeep, when I got it, was never actually a running and driving Jeep. This whole thing was built from leftover parts. Years ago, I wheeled a Jeep Wagoneer with Chevy drivetrain, all kinds of other stuff, and this will make the story get even longer, so I'll try to be brief. Essentially what I did was took the good parts off the Wagoneer, bought a YJ tub and frame, put it all together, and built into, over the course of years, what we have here. I'll explain that in a video some other time, because that's a long story and kind of deserves to be told. Anyway, when putting everything together, the YJ body that I got had the original YJ clutch master cylinder on it. And I'd done some figuring, mount a slave cylinder off of a Jeep Scrambler, because the shop I was working at the time, we had one that somebody had ordered and not picked up, and they couldn't send it back, so I bought it for cost and made a bracket, put it on here, and it worked. Wasn't ever right though, but it didn't know any different. It's like I said, this vehicle never existed, so it's always been the way it's been. And the clutch has been, I'll say, usable, but it would require a full stroke. Like when you wanted it to disengage, you had to push the clutch pedal all the way to the floor, and the take up on it, after fiddling with it and playing with different push rods and whatnot, I got it to where I had a little bit of free travel, but it was like almost none. Like if you would twitch your leg just a little bit, this thing was ready to take off. And I was beginning to get aggravated with it. And it was getting to the point to where I would say it was almost undrivable. The last time we were out, you would have to slam the clutch pedal all the way to the floor, and then it wasn't totally releasing, the gears were grinding, and you're trying to finesse something. If you would move your leg, the thing would take off. And I was so aggravated with it, I was literally ready to put an automatic in it. And those of you that know me know how much that took, how aggravated I had to be, because I absolutely love my manual transmissions. But I was ready to put an automatic in it. And then I stumbled onto something while looking and researching. And there's an aftermarket company out there that they make a hydraulic retrofit for these small block conversions. And it uses a bracket very similar to what I built. It's not exact, but it's very similar. And they use a slave cylinder similar to the Scrambler. And they had in their description, they were talking about how the bore on your master cylinder and the bore on your slave cylinder have to be match 100%. Well, I done some looking. It turns out the YJ master cylinder is 7/8. The bore on the Scrambler slave cylinder is 11/16. That's quite a bit of difference. I'm not real sharp on hydraulics, and I'm sure there's people, I know a buddy of mine is like a hydraulics whiz who's probably telling me, yeah, idiot, that's not going to work. You're going to have so much pressure here. And I don't know. I don't want to get into that part of it. So I've done some research, and it turns out that the Scrambler master cylinder will bolt onto the YJ firewall just fine. And guess what? It has an 11/16 bore on it. And now, so I bought one. Figure, hey, it already doesn't work. It's not that expensive. Let's buy one and put it on. And I did, and oh my God, this thing is amazing. I am back in love with my manual transmission again. It operates like it's supposed to. You push in on the clutch. You don't have to bury it through the freaking floorboard. You push in on the clutch. You take it out of gear. You put it in gear. You let up on the clutch. You have your, I don't know. I didn't measure it, but it just feels right. You let up on the clutch, it starts to take off, and then you let out some more, and it goes like it's supposed to. It's not an on and off switch. It actually works like a hydraulic system is supposed to. So, the takeaway from all this: do your research, do your checking. Don't assume that just because what you have is right and it'll work. Because I've put up with this thing for a lot of years with the mentality of, hey, I've already got it and it works, let's use it. If I would have just spent the money years ago when I bought it, and it's really not that expensive, it was probably even less back then. If I would have just spent the money and bought the master cylinder to match the slave cylinder that I had, it would have been beautiful. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So here is our new slave cylinder. Like I say, it's from an 83 Scrambler. It mounts to the YJ firewall because the firewall on a YJ, CJ7, and a Scrambler, which is a CJ8, is pretty much the same. At least close enough to work in this application. Here is our slave cylinder off of the Scrambler. It's not the one original to the build. I've since replaced it, but same concept. And here is the bracket that I made. It's nothing fancy. It's carved out of some angle iron, welded together, bolts to the factory holes on the block. But it works. And it works pretty dang well. Let that be your tech tip for the day. Match up your parts. Do your research. Don't always just use what you have laying around. The Scrambler slave cylinder, I'm not just defending the wrong decision there. That actually worked well, but I should have went a step further and got the Scrambler master cylinder to match it. And because now 12 years later, I've just now got it to where it works right. And so, enough of me rambling. I just wanted to pass that along to you, that I learned that the clutch parts have to match, and it's that way with about any other system. The pieces have to match. They have to work well together. And just because it's what you have doesn't always mean it's going to work well together. So, do your homework, do your research, get your parts to match. Stay tuned to RICO'S Garage for more tech tips. As I learn, I'm going to pass this stuff along to you. Like, comment, subscribe, and get out there and work on your project. I'm about ready for the trail. I expect to see you there too. Good night.